Welcome to the Intercut Podcast, the weekly show going over the TV, movies, and entertainment that people can't cut away from. I am your co-host, Zachary Shevich, and joining me, he's from space, and he came here to steal a necklace from a wizard. It's Arturo Zurita.
Well, I gotta be Thanos in the situation.
I think you're one of Thanos' minions, actually.
Wow. I can't say anything to you because we're not in the spoiler section, but I have it installed for you too. As long as I'm not the Squidward dude, then I'm fine.
No guarantees there. We are getting big into Avengers spoilers later in this episode. It's been a few days since it's been out. We're assuming you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, that's okay. You can still watch the first half of our show and skip ahead to the new to see if you want to do that too. Everything is in the description down below where we break down the episode for you, as it always is. Thanks for joining us again. We will get into those Infinity War spoilers soon. But first, what you watching, Art?
Let's see. Let's start with some Netflix stuff. Netflix, I have been catching up on the show Lost in Space. It's a show where they get lost
in space.
In space. Yeah. I think it's okay. I think it's okay.
Just okay. Is it like a family-friendly show? Am I wrong?
No, it is. It's a family. No, like, legitimately, I was watching this. I was like, this show's about parenting. It's about parenting, and then for another character, it's about addiction. And being like this lying...
It's about parenting
Parker
in space.
In space, exactly. And it's okay. It's almost like a CW.
Okay.
Freeform, I think it is now.
Yeah.
What ABC Family is.
Yeah.
And a little bit of sci-fi. All mixed together. Like the best of all of them.
Cool.
But also a little bland in some of them. The best part about it are the visuals. That alien robot thing that they got is fantastic. It's incredible. I think I'm 4 episodes in. I can't highly recommend it, but I'm going to finish it. Like I said, it's the family aspect of it. I'll hit you with this one line so you know exactly what I'm talking about. From what I'm aware of, the family isn't really... I mean, they're a family, right? Because the family's whoever you're with, but they have one of the girls, and I'd say it, obviously she's adopted. She goes through something, and then she's like, all right, when are we going to the next mission? He's like, I think you should take it easy. He's like, Dad, I can handle it. And he goes, oh, I know you can. Hand on shoulder. I just want to make sure you know you can too. That is the Netflix original series Lost in Space, where the girl already says you can... Yeah. It's parenting.
Yeah.
Parenting 101. It's decent. It's okay. It's fine.
Yeah. It sounds pleasant and heartwarming enough if that's the kind of thing you're looking for.
It's decent. But, other than that, the other two things you guys know is Avengers, which, we'll save that for the video. But first time playing with this bad boy, like, for real.
Oh, hey.
So this is my girlfriend's. I got it for her birthday. But I've been playing Legend of Zelda. Is it
Breath of the Wild, yeah.
Breath of the... No, Four Swords. No, yeah. Breath of the Wild. Bro, this thing, I'm being careful with it. Mm-hmm. It's a little addicting, the Nintendo Switch.
Man.
That's my thing. I'm all about portability. I have a PlayStation 4, and I don't play enough. And I got all the games I want in my library. I've always talked about use your library. Your taxes are going to it, and they can get you whatever game you want if it's not already there. But I move around a lot, like just in my house. I come from right here down there. Usually I'm busy editing or stuff. So whenever I'm on the road or in a trip, it would be great. Can't take my PlayStation with me. This bad boy right here, and the way these things. Have you played with one of these?
Man, I have a Switch that's been my secret addiction for all of 2018. It's over there.
Why are you barely coming out?
I'll admit this to you here because we're such good friends.
You've never mentioned this.
I know. Mine is. I see it there, man. I see it from where I podcast. It tempts me, and I look at it sometimes. Like,
wait, what do you?
I zone out a little bit when you're talking. I think about like what.
That's
more,
who you're looking
What shrines could I explore in Breath of the Wild? Dude, Breath of the Wild is so good. I may or may not have beaten Breath of the Wild twice already.
I feel like that. I feel like that girl who goes, "Who are you thinking about?" It's the Switch.
Yeah, it's always been the Switch. I'm sorry.
You've never told me this.
I know. Yeah. I mean, like, I'm not a huge gamer, and I've kind of been
I'm neither.
I've been a little bit out of the gaming sphere the last couple of years at least. I think that's like kind of natural when you like are doing that whole starting career stuff.
Adulting.
But Yeah, that portability with the Switch is awesome. The
It's
ability to go
crazy.
to put it down, play on the TV, pick it up, play in your lap, like go whatever.
Pop these things.
It's a really, really brilliant step in the console handheld innovation, and
Easily.
And Breath of the Wild is such a good. It's my favorite Zelda game ever, and I've been a fan of the franchise my entire life, basically.
When did? Oh, okay. So you're a fan of the franchise, but at what point did it go? Holy smokes, this is really good. Like immediately for you, or you still playing it for a bit?
I think
Time wise, like 30 hours.
Oh, I mean, I played it a lot. Like I said, I've played through basically twice. I've played through on the regular mode, and then there's like a master mode when it's really hard. I think at some point when you're just realizing how expansive the map is, and there's just no way to easily go from one side to the other.
So did you get the one with the map?
No, they have a fold-out map and stuff.
Buddy, so when I got her the thing, I got her the one that came. So like the game is in there, and then it comes with the map. Bro, it come with that map.
Oh, that's so cool.
Look at this. Look at this.
Oh, I feel like such a nerd right now, but I think that's so cool.
It's dope, right? I always like collecting the maps. I remember having the one for
GTA.
Not GTA, the Red Dead.
Red Dead, yeah.
Red Dead was dope, and then it comes with an explorer's guide.
Okay, we'll nerd out when Red Dead 2 comes out.
Oh, Red Dead's the whole thing, but dude, the explorer guide and everything. And again, I'm barely getting into it, so I am at that phase right now. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm at that phase for the people who have never seen Breaking Bad for the first time, Dark Knight for the first time, all of those crazy things. BioShock Infinite. We're talking games. I am barely experiencing that for the first time. Mm-hmm. I am literally only an hour into the game.
Oh my god.
Haven't even touched this one yet.
Yeah.
So
that one's good too.
So being self-employed sucks because I don't know when my time off is.
It's really
hard. In my office.
I'm here to talk you through it. It's been a learning process for me too.
No, shut up. You've been lying to me.
I keep it hidden. That's the only way. Okay, we'll start our weekly Nintendo Switch Chronicles soon.
The Intercut, the best gaming podcast.
But exclusively for Nintendo Switch games. What I've been watching, I have a couple things. For one, just off screen, not my Switch, the other direction. I have my Screensaver playing an episode of The Simpsons right now. It's got a few things stacked up on it because I downloaded this thing called Save Hollywood. I think it's available on Mac. It's as a free extension. Basically, you download it, and it gives you an option that you can add MP4s that are on your computer to a screensaver, so your favorite movies or favorite TV can kind of just play in the background when your computer's... For me, it's great because I get to put on, like, Tarsem Singh's The Fall and...
good...
really beautiful movies. I just kind of have The Simpsons on because it's like fun, but I mostly have really beautiful movies on there, and just kind of a nicer screensaver than those like weird glowing lines that were my default for a while.
Did you get Nymphomaniac Volume 1 and 2 on there yet?
That's coming soon. But as someone who's a big movie fan, it's just another way to like kind of get a little more movies into my life. I also saw... Yeah, go ahead.
How's the battery on that though? Oh, you're connected. It's desktop.
Yeah. I got the desktop right now.
That was a dumb question.
I also saw the new Janelle Monae short film, I guess. It's kind of almost 50 minutes long. So, Dirty Computer. Did you check this one out yet?
I've listened to parts of the album. A lot of people have requested, you're like, yo, you got to talk to this. I was like, I clicked it. Fresh. It is so... The production is so fresh. I can't say that it's... I mean, I've been like getting really into Anderson .Paak. It's not to compare them completely, but they are in the same realm of
they're a little bit of like genre blending, hip hop adjacent.
1000%. And I was hearing, which one was it? The one. You don't know exactly what you know what I'm talking about. I call it the Hereditary song.
Yeah, that's the Prince one. Prince helped her write that, I think.
Okay, yeah, it's... Wait, for real? Because when I heard it, I was like, this sounds like a Prince song. It sounds like she's straight up paying homage to Prince.
Supposedly, the guitar line, Prince's DJ was like, oh yeah, that was a Prince guitar line.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen the film. I'm way more interested in seeing the film because for music that... I'm not saying that I can't get involved. That's one of my biggest goals for 2018 is to stretch other genres. Because obviously I'm so hip-hop centric. and alternative is usually what I dip into, but I'm very more curious into getting into R&B and whatever you would classify this sound. I know the Grammys now have a new. Remember in the Grammys they have a new thing for this?
Right,
it's where they put Khalid.
That's the thing, is that she's really hard to classify. She's got elements of like neo soul and funk and all sorts of things going on.
But they don't put it in that. They put her in like this new category.
Yeah,
and
like
same
new
thing for
urban
Anderson
or something. I don't know what it.
Yeah, they called it like urban something, urban contemporary, and I think that's where they put Khalid into. So. Yeah, I've been trying to expand out there, but it's good.
It's amazing. I mean, like the video alone is also really beautifully done. I think it's got just immaculate production design. She has this very interesting futuristic vision that she's always kind of pursued in her visual work, but I think she's finally been able to meet that with the right quality of budget and filmmaking.
That's dope.
Tessa Thompson plays a big role in this, who she may secretly be in a relationship with. I don't know, but
that's where she was.
But it's I don't know, man. I thought it was fascinating. It's definitely the most interesting visual project I've seen from a musician since the Kanye Runaway video, which also was pretty cool back in the day. And like, even though that one's like that was a super enigmatic one. I think there's some interesting things going on here too. The writing is also stilted in a way that one was, but it visually and sonically, the music in this is amazing. She goes from sounding like Prince to James Brown to, I don't know who your favorite female rapper is, but Janelle's probably better. It's really, really good stuff, so I would check that one out.
Better than Cardi B. Don't you know the kids like? No, that's dope. Did you ever watch Lemonade?
No, and I regret it because I thought it was going to live on HBO Now forever. It's not on there.
I'm not getting Tidal to watch Lemonade. That's not happening. Okay, that's interesting. I'll definitely have to check it out.
Yeah. Quickly, do you want to talk about Madeline's Madeline?
Go ahead.
So I saw Madeline's Madeline at the Montclair Film Festival.
Oh, this is interesting. All right. Yeah, shout out to the Montclair Film Festival.
Yeah, and Josephine Decker, it's the latest from her. She's a really interesting filmmaker. I've seen a couple of her movies. I've recommended Flames on this show before. It's kind of a blend of documentary and fiction. And I think there's actually some elements of Flames that you can see in this new one, Madeline's Madeline, because as far as I know, apparently this movie was like partially improvised by the cast, and it evolved as they went through it, and it's very, very puzzling and like not the easiest movie to follow in a disorienting but kind of compelling way. I was lost, but also completely captivated for most of this movie. And, I think without a doubt, it's one of the most interesting new works I've seen in quite some time. I can't really tell you any movie that I would compare it to. I don't know if I can call it a drama or call it a horror. It's kind of both and neither. I'm not in love with the movie. I ultimately came down positively on it, but I think the ending... It reminded me of the OA in some bad ways, but everything leading up to it, I thought was
don't do it like that.
I thought it was beautifully shot, really well acted, and kind of puts you in the mindset of someone who's not sure if they're fully sane or might be on the edge of sanity or losing grip with reality, which I thought was really cool. What did you think about it? Because I know you got to see it at Sundance.
Well, I saw it at Sundance. It was actually the first movie I saw at Sundance because I was seeing so much hype of people saying this is the best one. What's the boy's name? IndieWire?
David Ehrlich?
Yeah, so I'd seen, because I started following all of these critics.
It definitely is a movie that you would think David Ehrlich would like a lot.
It should say directed by, was it director?
Josephine Decker.
And endorsed by David Ehrlich. What was it? Oh, no. The Tarantino thing. That's what I was getting at. You know when Tarantino presents? David Ehrlich presents. That's what this movie is. 1000%. So seeing like his praise for it, you know me. I am that guy. If I'm going to a film festival, I don't care if the movie is bad. What really concerns me is that I travel all the way to Salt Lake City, Utah, and then I come back and people are talking about this movie and I'm like, dang it, I missed it.
Right.
That's the one thing I do not want to happen. So when I hear this man saying it's his favorite of the year, sometimes David and I don't get along. We've never met, but sometimes we don't see eye to eye on opinions, right? I still respect the man, and I'm like, if this is his number one, I gotta go see it. It ends up being the first one that I saw at the festival for 2018. I don't know if you guys do it in categories for the Montclair Film Festival, but at Sundance they put it under the next category, which pretty much just means it ain't your usual. We ain't having people pay $25 for a movie and then be like, what the heck is that? We're putting it in the next category. Right. It's different, but some of my favorite movies have come out of the next category. And the best way I could put it, for those who need it to be labeled, Black Swan with the claustrophobia of Black Mirror. Ooh. And you come in and you dash a little bit of Whiplash in there. I hated the way it looked.
Really?
And that's the best compliment I can give it. If that makes any sense.
It does. Do
you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you know how we talk about Mother, but we enjoy Mother?
Yes.
You know what I mean? But even the parts that you don't enjoy about Mother, some people don't get that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not enjoying a movie is a part of it.
Yeah. It's weird. Frustrating and upsetting in kind of a very intentional way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's weird because that same logic can be used for a Transformers movie with the really bad stories. You know what I mean? But when there's a purpose to it, especially when they're trying to exemplify something. And what really got to me when I started, I know nothing going into the Sundance movies other than the name and the poster of it. Mm-hmm. When it hit me, I was like, oh, okay. You're trying to tell the story from this perspective, and you're not saying this person has that. Let's shoot the entire freaking movie the way that they would see the world. And that to me was like, oh, you hate it, but now imagine living like this, right? You're hearing, like, I heard some people talking about, like, because I can definitely, this is not one for, like, the mass public.
Right.
To go see, because then they're going to be like, really? That movie was trash. But you have to understand, in order to make it like that, the voices, the whispers that she hears, the disorientation. Like I said, I hate the way it looks. That's part of it. The
kind of like smudginess of the lens at times too.
Exactly.
And there's just this disorienting way it's cut together too, where you kind of lose your place in time. And I think it's kind of brilliant. It's almost, I think a weird comparison to make would be Memento, in that the way that Memento chops up the movie, it kind of puts you in the head of someone with short-term memory loss. This isn't a non-linear thing in the way that Memento is, but it also is doing some very effective editing to kind of disorient you in the way that someone with some mental health issues would be disoriented.
Exactly. And I don't know if they ever name exactly what she has. I know the mother makes a bunch of references to her being it's not rehab. What is it called when she gets institutionalized?
Asylum, yeah.
Yeah, and the medications that she sometimes does or does not take, which again goes to the way that the film is shot. When she does take it, more calm. When it's not, it is. But just the whole way that she is an actress, that adds a whole nother level to it, right? What is real and what isn't when her mind state is as frantic as the way it is. But then she also is an actress, which actors and actresses already, get into the mind of becoming a cat, and all of a sudden they're just acting like a cat everywhere they go.
Right. And that's another compelling layer to the film too, is that she is this actress in this community-ish production that is putting together a play, and the dramaturge is trying to essentially make the play about Madeline, the central character in the film.
Is she getting abused? Is she being used? Is this overstepping a boundary?
Right.
It's weird.
And I think the movie just pokes at a lot of very interesting ideas. Even if I don't necessarily like where it landed, I think I loved the process of getting there. The experience of it is so unique that I would really recommend it to anybody who's willing to take a little bit of a dive into an experimental project, because this is like a feature-length experimental film, pretty much.
Yeah. For sure. If you're bored with everything else out there, I thought you brought a really good point about it feeling like Memento. If I'm not mistaken, the director had said that while they were editing it, they came up with the idea of putting the middle at the end, or the climax at the beginning, something like that. And I was like, okay, knowing that kind of adds something to it. I personally am not the biggest fan of it, right? Because I'm like, oh, I need it to be narrative. Maybe that says something about me, and I'm always fair to say that. The movie isn't completely for me, but like you said, the idea of not just doing something different for the sake of being different, but for the purpose of being You don't understand what it's like to be in this person's mindset. Do you not like it? No? Imagine being that. But that's just film.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's just what the movie was going for. So I think it's an interesting one to catch if you want something different. If you're a fan of Mother, definitely catch it.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, it does some really interesting things with sound design in a similar way than Mother. But that's what we've been watching. A lot of good stuff out there. Let us know what you've been watching and if you've seen any of the things that we've seen in the comments down below. We're going to move on to a quick yay or nay where we break down the latest happenings in the entertainment industry, starting with an announcement out of CinemaCon that we will be getting A Quiet Place 2. Not really a surprise to too many people given how much money John Krasinski's debut horror film made, but I think it does raise the question, do you want to see A Quiet Place 2 that feels like a direct sequel, yay or nay?
Yeah.
Like a direct sequel. You want Emily Blunt involved? Maybe.
Yes and a no. I don't want it to be about them, but I want them coming in so then it is a direct sequel. You get what I mean?
Right. You want like the universe.
That type of thing. Yeah, I'm always for the universe, right? And I was expecting this the moment, again, my least favorite part of the movie are the Bayisms thrown in there. You know, that we got to be super quiet. When we smack this bathroom door when John Krasinski comes in here. Yeah, that type of stuff. So I can definitely have seen this becoming a franchise with the aliens, and I know that they have some lore to it. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Eventually it becomes a Cloverfield franchise. A Quiet Clover. Yeah. A Clover Plate. Ooh.
A Clover Place. I'm going to go nay on it being a direct sequel. I'm totally for there being more in the universe like we're talking about. But, you know, I think the way that it left off with those characters was such a fun, uplifting place. And it might...
Deters.
It deters from it a bit to see them go through the struggle again. And also, I don't know if, you know, it's a diminished cast and stuff. So, I don't know. I think it'd be cool to see a new family or a new circumstance or something like that and really get more layers to the world. Because they did hint that there's a lot more out there. So, it'd be curious to see what else they can explore there.
A different family that doesn't, you know, knock up and have a baby in the middle of an apocalypse. Yeah.
Such a bad idea. MoviePass announced a series of changes to its service. It's slowly unfolding to various people. Some will have to take photographs of their ticket stubs. It looks like the unlimited movies option and the one movie a day option are soon to be gone. Art, yay or nay, is this the beginning of the end of MoviePass?
No, it's not the beginning of the end, but I think it's a wake-up call for a lot of the people who had it. Look, it's one of those weird things because I've been with them for so long, right? And it's still a testament to be like, well, I've been with them for so long. Obviously, recently my thing got canceled. For using it, as did a lot of other like elderly women who tried doing a lawsuit because they're like, no, we even keep our tickets. I was like, yeah, I did too. They just left me hanging. I've been with them for the longest time, and the craziest thing about it is that I never want to make it sound like, oh, I'm not getting what I owed. I used to pay $35 for it.
Right.
Then at one point they wanted me to pay $90 for it. You know, like when you see somebody grow, right? Yeah. And you see all of their mistakes. I've been with them through it all. What they've experimented with, what they haven't. I always wonder, I'm like, my subscribers see me like start up something and then I don't. Roll film, it's going to be a weekly, and then I don't do, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. I'm like, is this what it's like to be a MoviePass person?
I mean, I think, it's this weird expectation we have for companies to like be fully formed and 100% finished, and they can't change what they offered. That's illegal.
And I do wonder that because it's sort of like, you know, I'm signing the agreements. I want you to keep the same way, but you knew from the beginning. I know from the beginning that it was way too good to be true. But even with it, through it all, I always got a deal. Even when I was mad to take a picture or whatever it was I needed to do and all these extra inconveniences when the thing would not load and stuff like that, it always was worth it. I don't know if my YouTube channel could be possible back when I was straight up not making anything from YouTube and having to spend all that McDonald's money on the tickets. I don't know if that would have been possible.
Yeah, that's the thing that I've found really just completely baffling from this announcement so far is the reaction from some people on Twitter. Like, they're gonna really make me take a picture of
which is annoying. Don't get me wrong. I'm with you as well. It is annoying.
It's annoying. You shouldn't have to do it, but
movies?
go back to paying $15 per ticket or whatever you do now. Like, you know, if this is what it takes for them to do what they need to do, then I understand. It's not like you're doing it from your phone. I don't know anybody who has a smartphone without a camera. So I'm nay on this being the beginning of the end for MoviePass. I think MoviePass will find a way to stick around. It's still a useful service.
Exactly.
It's still saving you money. For people like you and me who go to the movies often enough, it's still going to be worthwhile.
1000%.
But I do think, you know, they have to be concerned, not just because of people who they're alienating, but also there's all this potential competition from movie theaters trying to start their own versions of MoviePass and trying to get in on that game.
Cinemia is another one.
Exactly, and it's, you know, we're reaching a point where it seems like the subscription model is going to keep a lot of businesses afloat, and movie theaters are going to have to get in on that too. I wonder if MoviePass and movie theater services can exist simultaneously.
Bro, that is a dope thing right there. Marcus Theaters, the proud future sponsor of this thing. If you're in the Midwest, Marcus Theaters is the way to go. If you had a movie theater chain that allowed you to come, that is some dope stuff right there. That's interesting right there. Mm-hmm. Now you're thinking, because now you got to be loyal to the theater.
Exactly. And the different types of experiences.
Yeah, I've seen Marcus Theaters does that. They had one, and that's the Midwestern Theater. You guys have probably heard me mention it. They have one on Sundays. Now that I'm barely thinking about this, they had a thing called the MoviePass movie flight or something like that.
Right.
And you were able to see 5 movies on any Sunday. It can only be used on Sunday, but you can see with your little card to go and right there. So that gives you something that's interesting.
Yeah.
And movie theaters that do $5 Tuesdays and stuff like that. AMC does it now.
Exactly.
Marcus does it. So, I mean, there's plenty of stuff there. I think that MoviePass needs to find a place where they're good. And it's $9.99 for 4 movies a month is still saving you money.
A lot.
You get 3 free movies. Plus, $9.99. The first ticket was probably $12.
Yeah.
And change. So it's an extra 3 movies and change. It's still worth it. Through it all, I still recommend it.
Yeah, you still have more money to save.
It's annoying.
Unless
I
you're
wish it
spend
wasn't.
it on popcorn like I do.
That's relationship. A big old bucket.
Hank Azaria recently went on Stephen Colbert's show and talked about the problem with Apu documentary, as well as The Simpsons' response to the problem with Apu. And he offered that he's willing to step aside from the voice of Apu. Art, yay or nay, you would like to see Hank Azaria step aside from voicing Apu on The Simpsons?
No. I don't have too much of a say in this because I'm not too avid on The Simpsons.
Yeah.
I'm aware of the documentary. I never saw it. I'm pretty sure that just the documentary was highlighting how it pushes on a stereotype.
Yeah.
It's a tricky thing, right? It's a tricky thing because it's like, I get that it's a stereotype and you have a problem with that, but you don't have a problem with Moe.
Yeah.
You don't have a problem with the cop. You have a problem with Homer.
But there's the argument which is presented in the documentary in that it's not. You see more examples of people, a variety of examples of people like Italians and stuff like that, whereas there's fewer examples of Indians, and that's
1000%. It's always a convenience store. It's the taxi driver type of thing, it's always 1000%. Trust me, I get this. I was having an argument with somebody who was telling me something about Avengers. And they're like, I bet you didn't like the black characters. How you just said something about the black characters because we can never get anything. And I was just like, no, I think I had an issue with the Mexican characters. Yeah, that one. In the 19 movies, the Mexican. Because I don't, you know what I mean?
Exactly. The non-Mexican characters.
The non-Mexican characters that don't exist in the biggest movie of all time.
Right.
Like, not even on the side.
Yeah,
but that's
representation is not always easy to come by.
1000%. So what I'm getting at here is, yeah, I get that. There needs to be more. That's where I like Kumail and what he's doing, getting nominated, making Oscar-worthy material. Dev Patel?
Yeah.
Dude's been like working every day on TV for the longest point in time. You know what I mean? Your boy, he's coming up in the next Venom one, Nightcrawler.
Oh, Riz Ahmed, yeah.
You know, he's doing insane stuff, and I think it just needs to get to a point of creating characters to put them in a different light. I've always said this, and that's where I agree 100% as well, right? I always give a counter argument, but I agree as well. There are some people who see that and they just think that every Indian person is Apu. They see, you know, we make those jokes all the time. My buddy Paul, I don't know if he watches it, shout out to him. Every time he would give us a ride, the joke was we'd get in the back of the car.
Yeah.
So he felt like a taxi driver. And then the joke when we went out to eat is I was the janitor at a clean, right? You have those, like, what's fun between friends then becomes an established mindset for people who don't actually interact with Middle Eastern people.
Right.
And they think that's what it is. Don't actually interact with black people, so they think the stereotype is what it is. That's what Latinos are. That the Jewish people, this is Italians, but the Jewish people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this is the way. So I get that 100%, and I think it's admirable, if anything, that he's willing to, after decades, to be like, you know what, that's fine, it's fine.
Yeah.
Does that mean the character goes?
Well, that's the thing. So I'm going to say that I am in favor of it, but asterisk, it's because I don't want them to get rid of Apu. I think just to get rid of Apu wouldn't be solving the problem, you know.
Right, because there's still people like Apu.
Yeah, and I want... And getting rid of the one Indian character, or major Indian character at least, it feels like worse than having him not represented in the right way. But I think the solution is similar to something Hank Azaria also mentioned on Colbert, that The Simpsons needs to have South Asian writers in the room helping write Apu if they want that to be part of the show. And, you know, there was an episode of The Simpsons where they brought on an Indian actor to voice Apu's son. And I don't see why they couldn't hit that a little more and make it a little more inclusive. You know, I think a lot of times these shows get bigger as they go on and instead of smaller. So why not expand? Why not bring in more voices, bring in more characters? I think that's a elegant solution that can make the problem not so problematic.
That's true. Yeah, Simpsons is a big thing. I mean, South Park does it. South Park has added characters throughout the years as well to build on their world.
Yeah.
I had a point, and I forgot what it was. So if I come back to it, I'll bring it up again. But yeah, I agree with you. Getting rid of the character isn't going to help it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we'll see.
Getting to a little bit of Avengers news. No worries. There are no spoilers here. Box office only. And
killed it!
The
box office!
As expected. It dominated this weekend. It made over $250 million. It's going to be the #1 all time at the weekend. It made more than, as some people pointed out gleefully on Twitter, it made more than Justice League in Justice League's entire theatrical run.
That was savage. Yeah, that's.
Yeah. So, yay or nay? Avengers 4 can't live up to how much money Avengers 3 made.
It depends on the name.
You think it's that simple?
They left. But why are you putting me in a position where I can't say anything? Look, you already know it's 2 parts. Right? I'm not spoiling anything, but you guys know it's 2 parts. So they leave you with something you have to come back for.
There's a cliffhanger. I think we can say that.
There's a beach hanger. Yes. So you need to come back for something. So that alone makes me think that the people who already... The $650 million worth of people. Mind you, I always like this little one. $650 million worldwide. Ain't even open in China yet.
Yeah, it's going to obliterate box office
That's like when someone gives you
the ones that it hasn't already.
Right, exactly. That's like when someone gives you, like, this is how much you've made after taxes. After? I think, and again, I'm saying how enticing they can make the next one, and it still continues to blow my mind.
Yeah.
That's next May. Not next May. Not 2020 May. Next May. That is about to be in under a year. Is the trailer coming out next month? They filmed back-to-back. I'm very curious to see how they hype it up, and they keep that hype, right? That they keep that hype, because sometimes it falls off. Sometimes you have something like I think of The Walking Dead and how they were able, right? They ticked a lot of people off with a certain cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And who was there watching it the next time?
Everybody.
Everybody.
More people.
More people than anything. I feel that same effect is going to happen here.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think there's just going to be a hunger for more of this. It's still, they haven't completed the arc. They need to complete this arc. So I think somehow they might even make more money next time around, which is crazy to think about.
Can we just look at that number, 650 million? Do you remember when we thought it was the biggest thing in the world to get to 300?
Right.
When Jurassic World beat $500 million, we said $500 million in just 3 days. That is, and then Furious 7 came in and said $500 million even faster, and the race was to $1 billion.
Right.
This thing is gonna.
I mean, I think it's going to probably do $1 billion in 4, maybe 5 days. That's
the fastest to $1 billion.
It's
I would say in a snap. Too soon?
Too soon. Let's get through some rough cuts real quick, and then we'll hop into our Avengers talk. Aardman Animation is apparently working on Chicken Run 2. Art, are you super excited, yay or nay?
Did you see the last one?
Yes, of course I saw the last one. It's
Not the last Chicken Run.
Oh, the last Aardman?
Yeah.
No.
I wasn't liking it. Literally, the first conversation I had with my girlfriend and my friend who was there was, y'all remember Chicken Run?
Yeah. But
and
maybe
that's
that will get them back to their roots. Maybe it'll reinvigorate them. I mean, the only thing I'm not super excited for is the return of Mel Gibson. Maybe they can do this without him. But
what was he in the first?
He was the main chicken, wasn't he?
Was he really?
Yeah, I think so.
Passion of the Chicken. My biggest thing, and I think you and I are like in agreement with it, if the second one isn't good or anything, it doesn't ruin anything. We still have the first Chicken Run.
Exactly.
Right? We still get that blockbuster VHS we never returned.
Yeah, somewhere around here.
I just hope that the sequel is able to live up to it. You know what I mean? Paddington lived up to its sequel.
Yeah.
So Chicken Run is something that I think can be as mischievous as the other ones are. I don't know if Shaun the Sheep is getting a sequel or not. But I remember that one, when that one came out, people were like flocking all over it. They thought it was like the greatest thing in the world. And I believe that's from the same company, if I'm not mistaken. So if they have the same people to come in and be able to create something as good as Shaun the Sheep and not, and I'm still blanking on what the Early Man. I don't like Early Man.
That's what it was.
If they're able to recreate what Shaun the Sheep had and not Early Man, then I'd be down for it. Cool. They're going to do it anyway, so.
For the latest Mission Impossible film, Tom Cruise did not only break his ankle, apparently he jumped out of a plane 106 times for that big skydiving scene that are putting in the trailers. Art, yay or nay, Tom Cruise is going too far.
No.
No. He needs to go further. He needs to jump 200 times for the next one.
Have you seen the trailer
to the new It's amazing how they keep finding ways to make it seem even bigger and more hype.
Here's what I don't watch trailers, right? Other than when I go to the movies all the time, like it just something plays and I end up, seeing it eventually. I don't like watching trailers, but I'm stuck with it with the amount of movies that I watch.
Right.
I get so hyped. Like, okay, so you know how you've been keeping your
off planes.
No. You don't get it. You don't. You know how you lied to me about the Nintendo Switch? You've been keeping it a secret. Listen to me, and I'm being like 100% serious. Every time I see that trailer, I go back to the days when I would get hyped for The Dark Knight Rises off a trailer and would just watch it over and over again. I'm not like watching this on YouTube, but the moment it comes on the big screen, like. The plane scene, when he's driving off the thing and the thing gets hit and he goes flying off.
Right.
There's this. No, like you really don't understand. I'm trying really hard to contain it because every time that I get excited for something, I get disappointed.
So badass.
There's that scene in the trailer, dude. There's that scene in the trailer where they're in the bathroom and Henry Cavill snaps his cufflinks.
Yeah.
He goes, he whips himself with his own sleeve almost.
I'm expecting big things from this movie.
I'm expecting raid level material for this thing. Like, what? See, your posters are excited for it too.
Yeah.
So, I already know the man is crazy. I'm just excited to see what he does because he truly is flying off the stuff. I just want to let you guys know, like, I am beyond excited for this thing, and I've been trying to contain it. But I am ridiculously hyped for this movie. Mustache and all.
Double Dare is set to come back to Nickelodeon. Art, yay or nay, you're ready to get slimed.
1000%.
Yes.
Slime's huge. Slime's huge on YouTube.
Yeah, it's getting
weird.
This whole revitalization. I mean,
That's
it's not
genius.
It's not green slime. I wonder if they're going to change the slime, appeal to young kids or something. But yeah, let slime have its moment. Mm-hmm. And finally, Patton Oswalt is set to replace Louis C.K. in the Secret Life of Pets sequel, and Harrison Ford is also set to join the voice cast. Art, yay or nay, this is a good replacement.
Sure.
I like Patton Oswalt.
Okay, I don't care.
He did Ratatouille. I don't know. I didn't like the first Secret Life of Pets, so.
It's alright. It's fine.
All right. It's topic of the week time. Avengers Infinity War.
Yes, sir.
Spoilers and all. So make sure you hit the comments down below and let us know your thoughts. And check the description if you need to jump ahead in the time code. We are going to do major spoilers very soon. So thanks for watching. See you later. Stick with us.
They've seen it.
Yeah.
They've seen it.
Everybody's seen it.
One of those
650 million. We just said it, right?
Yeah. People can't pay their rent, and they're like, you know, nah, it's okay. Yeah, Avengers is coming.
Seeing it twice opening weekend.
Yeah, I gotta go see it. I gotta go see it twice. Yeah. If you wanted to see it and you cared about spoilers, chances are you've already seen it.
Exactly.
But you've still already been warned, just in case you had something else going on. It's fine. It's understandable. Life happens. But life also brings you Avengers Infinity War, which is the third installment, the finishing of the third phase. I almost want to say, I believe like it's almost leaking a bit, and we still got Ant-Man that's coming out. But
yeah, I mean, I guess we still need this conclusion, Avengers 4. But
yeah.
A whole lot happened here. A whole lot of people are gone.
Right off the bat, I've made several videos on this. Right,
Yeah.
I've done my Let Me Explain videos, breaking down just my emotions on the movie. Right there, I've made my review. Sponsored by Marcus Cinemas, the best cinemas in the Midwest. But I also got another video that I'm editing and should be out by the time you guys are seeing this about what I truly feel. We'll touch upon it here. My theory is, the A to Z so gets super pretentious when we talk about what it's about. You being the complete opposite demographic of this thing.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the ride.
Phew! There's no way you don't.
Yeah. No, I mean, I thought this was entertaining start to finish in a way that I did not feel Age of Ultron was entertaining to start to finish.
What's that?
Even more so than I felt entertained by the original Avengers film. I thought there was a lot going on here, and I thought that somehow the way that they were able to balance all these people...
That's commendable.
Yeah, just as a feat of filmmaking, I mean, it's this weird thing where, you have all this baggage going in because you've seen all these movies before, but yet they somehow manage to balance the personalities. And as someone who doesn't consider themselves a big Marvel person, that I'm able to notice when Red Skull shows up and understand that's like a big thing.
We in spoilers?
Man, we're obviously in spoilers. I thought we talked.
Oh, when Red Skull came in, I thought that man's contract was up.
Well, I think did you see it's a different actor playing Red Skull.
He sounded different.
Yeah. I don't know. What's his name? Mickelson? Too busy for it? I forget his name.
No, it's Agent Smith.
Smith? Yeah. What's his name?
Smith.
Mortensen?
Yeah. He's Agent Smith to me. Yeah, Agent Smith was him.
Yeah.
Cause I tried noting that the second time around. I was like, oh, Red Skull's coming up. And then I noticed a bit. I'm like, he does sound a bit different than the actor.
They swapped him for someone else.
Okay. Is it, like problems with him? Probably. Whatever it was, he's back. Yo, Red Skull's back. That scene alone, first of all, you're not even like, you're like, whoa, he's back. And then something else happens in that scene that obviously makes you go, all right, cool. Good, thanks for joining us. But so overall, you liked it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to enjoy about this movie, from the interactions, which are always really fun. The way that they find innovations, or they find new fun ways for people to bounce off of each other, whether it's just the Spider-Man and Doctor Strange introducing themselves and being like, oh, we're using the made-up names part, stuff like that. It's enjoyable. I love every time that Thor is calling Rocket Rabbit instead of Raccoon. It's all all that stuff was entertaining to me, and I didn't feel as lost in all the story and action as I guessed I would, considering just how many places and how many people and how many ideas are kind of being balanced here. I'm not going to say that this was like a amazing, like one of my favorite movies of the year kind of thing. I was just very solidly entertained from start to finish.
That's dope, especially considering that it's 2 hours and 40 minutes, which you need for all these characters. No, yeah, I definitely think they were completely balanced all the way through. At a certain point, right? So you guys know, it's the after credit show because we talk about our stuff after the credits. But talking about the post-credit scene.
Yeah, let's get into that.
I've been having this theory that Marvel has practically, they didn't create it, but it's practically become their own. You know what I mean? That's what you're associated with when it comes to a stinger. I feel like one of these days they're just going to end the movie, and the after credit scene is not going to be a scene. It's going to be a freaking movie. Like, it's literally just going to, you know what I mean? It's like the end of one episode and you just go straight, like, to the next episode. It's going to, like, pause, do that Netflix thing. Are you still watching? And then just continue it through. That's what I almost thought they were going to do in this one. But what I felt this one did better than a lot of the other ones is that when the movie ends, right, and you're left with that certain point where you go, did all of this really just happen? Did they really just have the balls to end like that? All right, now you still got a little bit else. And that they use that after credit scene to not only establish the next one, but to also remind you, nah, we weren't playing. Yeah,
the stakes are real. It's not just Wakanda or Titan where we're seeing the effects.
That too, yeah, that they... Well, when that car came out of nowhere, that Children of Men thing, yeah.
Or like Leftovers season 1 thing.
So that's the thing right there. I was talking to Trace about this. Did you know that Carrie Coon?
Yes.
From Leftovers plays the chicken. She plays the dark elf looking girl, freaking Magic the Gathering chick. Yeah, her.
She's really good at it.
She's fantastic.
Yes.
But her being from the Leftovers, that's what we were joking about. We're like, what if she was like, hey, or they asked her, hey, so how'd they shoot that scene?
Yeah, how's that rapture work?
Yeah, how'd that go? Just wondering for a friend.
So yeah, in the post credits we get the rapturing, I guess we can say, of half of New York City, including Nick Fury and Maria Hill, and
not the mother. Yeah.
And not the mother, and. I mean, we get the big thing in the end is we get that tag where Nick is sending a message out, and we get the image of the Captain Marvel logo. So we know they're contacting Captain Marvel. If you look at the timeline of what movies are coming out next, we are getting a Captain Marvel movie before we are getting the Avengers 4. So I guess we can...
Before?
I think so. That's what I was talking to my friend about earlier.
That'd be interesting. I thought it was after, but regardless of, she's already been on the set for Avengers 4. We've seen her in the costume, if you've seen those pics over there. But definitely, they're really pushing her to be the next big one. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's coming out... Captain Marvel is coming out in March, and then we're getting Avengers in May.
Okay, that's dope. That's good. That's clean. Because I've been hearing a lot that Captain Marvel takes place in the 90s, and that she's...
I think, the 80s, I think.
Oh, man, why you gotta do me like that? I was hoping the 90s. I'm sick and tired of the 80s. Anyways, Nick Fury, he that's like one of the first superhero he meets or something like that, and they start this whole connection. And then that beeper thing is, I'm still of the belief it's a different dimension, but she is in space. Like, that's what her character is known for.
Right.
That she would be in space, and that's the way that he communicates with her, and that she would come in to play a big role. Now, narratively, how that ends up becoming a thing, we'll see. whether she's the one who deals with time travel, that is going to happen in Avengers, like I'm telling you. One of the biggest things that I've noted is that there's a picture out there where they kind of have like their class photo, right? They're treating it like a class. And what do classes do in school? They have to graduate. So as a graduating class, which is all the heroes that we know now, right? This is getting more into the thematic elements of it. You then need someone to take that place.
Yeah.
And no one better than someone like Brie Larson, right? Because we've had our Scarlet Witch, we've had our Black Widows, we've had our Gamoras, and I think that they're all very good characters, but none of them have been Iron Man, Captain America. You know what I mean?
Right.
And she is, she is in a sense they're putting her for. She's the first, if I'm not mistaken, female superhero-led movie
from Marvel.
For Marvel. So they're giving her the Wonder Woman effect in the terms of here is that solo big budget movie, but more than Wonder Woman, which, they did have her, right away being a hero in the Justice League, even though everyone needed Superman. She is going to be the one who plays a crucial part in fixing, not the Avengers, not Earth, the universe from being fixed from this cliffhanger. And when I was mentioning that picture, she is seated front and center, right in the middle, next to Robert Downey Jr.
Interesting. Interesting
note. Now, pictures speak 1,000 words, and that's like kind of telling you we're putting him. If Robert Downey Jr., as the joke has always been, as Samuel Jackson said at the Comic-Con. So do you guys ever see the script? No. You guys never get an input? No. Only one person does. Robert Downey Jr. And they all laugh. There's half-truths to jokes.
Right.
And Robert Downey, as we all know, don't disclose that number on the check or how many bags he's got. So to say that someone like Captain Marvel is then going to be at that same league, I think says a lot, not only to the power that her character is going to be, but this shift that is happening.
Mm-hmm.
We've been talking about Game of Thrones, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that shift that happened in Game of Thrones from being all this women only being used for sex and very male-driven. Where's the sex now? Oh, it's female-driven.
We're in a very, the feminist movement is also commercial from things like Handmaid's Tale and stuff like that. And you see, like you said, the success of Wonder Woman. It would not be surprising to see a female lead of the next phase of the Avengers, not only because, we're exchanging one captain for another, but Chris Evans has
1,000%
loudly hinted at his exit from the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
It's happening, 1,000%. And that's where this big question then comes into play. Star Wars tried doing that.
Right.
Y'all seen what has happened.
Yeah.
Mad Max got resurrected out of nowhere. Fantastic movie. And some people said, yeah, but
what about
she was a little too furiosa over here. It's been happening to a lot of things. And don't get me wrong, I'm also one that's very critical. We were just talking about last week, the DC hired that female director who's never really done any other work, and we're wondering, are they trying to fill a quota, or do they want to find the best director, right? We always want to find the best director, but give everyone an equal chance. Marvel seems to be setting up everything, and I agree with it 100%. You're shifting the tide, and you're putting a female lead.
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars got backlash. It's going to be so interesting to see what happens when Marvel does it.
And I think the major difference here, which is, it's a good point, because Star Wars not only is something that's led by a woman now, but there's also a very prominent black male, and considering T'Challa's role in the future of the Avengers, that might be replicated in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as well. So I would not be surprised to see some parallels. I think the big difference here is Star Wars came out of 30 years of being away, essentially. Not counting the prequels, or then it'd be 40 years. It came out of nowhere to sort of switch up the story and switch up the people involved. Marvel has done a really amazing job of organically shifting and growing and bringing people in, and it feels natural. It feels like everybody is part of a larger thing. So that if Captain Marvel was to slide into this prominent role, I don't know if it would feel like a takeover the way that some people reacted to Star Wars, to Ghostbusters,
That's
to things like that.
1000% exactly how I feel. And that leads me to believe they've known this from the beginning. There was an idea. As cheesy as it sounds to some people, I honestly think that's where it's going. And it's who's going to die, all these different things, how it goes. That's always entertaining. That's always very interesting, right? But that idea of Star Wars tried doing it, and it got backlash. So many other things. You mentioned Ghostbusters and different shifts that start happening, and they get that backlash. Marvel's almost like, y'all want to do it quick? We take our time.
Yeah.
And what have we always said? We were just mentioning earlier in the podcast about the Apu thing. Right? We were talking about Black Panther when we had those discussions about how media does, for some people, portray a certain demographic when they don't interact with that demographic, right? So right now, Marvel has built their plateau. They have built their thing to be that is going to be the influence for the next generation. And I highly think, give you a little snippet for the video that should be out already, but right now, as of this moment, my biggest thing is I think that Marvel's biggest thing that they're trying to push is that Last Jedi thing of Last Jedi ends with anyone can be a superhero.
Right.
The legends, don't hold them up too high. Don't hold up Iron Man, Captain America too high, because anybody can be a hero. You can be a hero. And we're going to change the face of what a hero is. Captain Marvel. She's wearing green, which obviously has to do with her comic origins, but it also means brand new beginning, Mother Earth, all those different things that you want to put into it. And I started seeing a theme throughout all of the movies about parenting, right? And it wasn't just that it was parenting. It was that they were always the ones being parented. None of our heroes have kids. And Thor is 1,500 years old.
But they all have daddy issues.
But they all have daddy issues. And at a certain point, it's like, of course this is going to be... Everyone has parents. But to specifically have the 1,500-year-old never have a kid, but daddy issues. The 40-year-old rich billionaire never have a kid, but still...
talk about having a kid and still have daddy issues.
Oh, let me get to that. That's what I'm talking about. But he had that, right? He's got, living in his parents' shadow. Gamora. Don't have kids, but she got a little bit of daddy issues. Star-Lord. Daddy issues and what he did to his mama.
Had to kill his dad.
Spider-Man. Ain't even got parents.
Uncle Ben issues.
But he got Uncle Ben issues, right? There's all of these people who have these parental issues, and then you got the stuff that always deals with history, what's been rooted in with Hail Hydra. I don't know if we're still doing that, because that just seemed to came and went.
Yeah, it's kind of gone now, isn't it?
It's kind of gone now, just dissipated. But yeah, all of those things, that's always been the case. Then Hawkeye is the first superhero with a family, and he retires. Because some heroes don't need to die, they can retire.
So, can I throw out a Hawkeye theory? And I'll credit my boy Ben for
Is it
giving
that
me
they
this
disappear
idea.
and then they come back?
It's that Hawkeye returns when his family gets dusted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's 1,000% what's going to happen.
Okay, cool.
Easily, yeah. No, we'll give a shout out. Who said it?
Ben Silveria.
Yeah, that was Ben's. It was Ben's idea. 1,000%.
Cool.
No, I agree with him. That's exactly what I was thinking. I said...
Because now we're in an interesting situation, and if we're going to kind of backtrack a little bit and talk a little bit about actually what happens at the end of the movie, where so many of our heroes have been eliminated.
It's gone.
Except for pretty much
the
original 5
cast.
And a couple others. You're getting it back down to the basics, back down to the people who started it all.
Cool.
And it's going to be a great way to kind of send them off in style, is bringing them all back together again for this mission.
Oh, why you gotta say it like that?
Because I don't know if, I don't know how you felt. The only thing that kind of let me down about that ending was when they so decimated the squad. It made me realize there's no way that any of these things are going to stick. Oh,
yeah. When you saw Black Panther go, and you said, yeah, that's absolutely... When I saw Black Panther go, I said, all right, y'all playing.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, y'all playing.
Black Panther's gone. Okay, I guess we're not getting that sequel then.
Right, yeah. Oh, Spider-Man's going. Oh, Oh, Tom Holland, y'all gotta relax right there. I saw it the second time around, and there is no reason for Tom Holland to have done what he did. Okay? He didn't have to do the lip quiver. Uncalled for.
I don't like what's happening to me.
I'm sorry, Mr.
I want to go
Stark.
home.
Please don't. You need to chill, buddy. We here to watch a family film. There was a little girl who literally looked at her dad in my screening and went.
I was surprised how much crying I heard around me.
Bro, I'm not kidding you. When the movie ended, this little girl got up and looked at her dad and said, "Explain yourself. You're supposed to be taking me to." Remember I said about my rock theory? People go to have a good time at the end of the movie. The little girl went, "Explain this to me. Explain this to me why I'm traumatized."
What was the biggest gasp in your theater? Which death?
Loki, surprisingly.
Really? Because that's really early. What was kind of surprising to me, the movie starts and there's a second where I'm thinking, like, did I accidentally walk into an Avengers 4 screening? Like, everybody's dead on the ground. They get rid of Loki. They get rid of Idris Elba. Like, they were getting off to a really efficient start there.
Yeah, that's how I say you need to introduce a villain. He don't come in and say his plan. He comes in and boom. Oh, your favorite villain so far? You're dead.
Yeah.
How to become the best villain? Kill the best villain. But that thing with the OG Avengers.
Right.
There's been set leaks. They've shown Thor back in his original hair from 2012. Captain America in his original suit from 2012. They're all holding these, like, things. It's led to believe that they're going to come in with time travel. I'm a big time travel fan. I don't know the conundrum it's going to build. It's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. But your phrasing of bring the old team back together for like one last hurrah, that is heartbreaking. Because that's exactly how I think. The big thing being that we think these characters are going to die. Do you? We're going to kill everybody else.
Right. Right. Yeah, that was one of the really interesting things. You know, we spent months speculating, like, who's going to die? It's probably going to be Cap. It's probably going to be Iron Man. Yeah. Oh, it's got to be one of the originals. Their contracts have to be up by now. And they just get rid of everybody else.
To then bring everybody else back and go, of course we knew that was going to... And then actually do the permanent death. And then actually do the permanent death.
Yeah. So, speaking of that idea of permanent death... we believe believe there's going to be some kind of backtracking because we know we're going to get T'Challa back. We're going to get Spider-Man back. Are we going to get Gamora back? Are we going to get Loki back?
So that's some of the most interesting stuff because it's going to be... Because in my belief, I feel the way that it's going to go is that one of the superheroes, be it Captain America or be it Iron Man, I don't think Iron Man's going to go. I think Iron Man's going to retire. As we said, there's that theory. He had the dream about having a kid. Pepper Potts calls him... He's having a kid, in my opinion, and that's what he's going to do. He's going to Hawkeye it and retire. I feel like it's going to be Cap or somebody else who's going to sacrifice themselves, and I think it's such an interesting position because it's not like, you know, like when someone dies for the world and they're already living. It's very noble, but there's a whole different layer when those heroes are literally missing, you know what I mean? And they die to bring them back, giving everyone a year to believe that these, you know, for those who do fall for it, that they're gone. And then kind of making an ultimatum, right? Of one character. I'll pause it.
Sorry. I got it back up.
Did you? Are you good?
Yeah, I don't know why that cut suddenly, but go ahead.
All right. Of one character coming in and making that decision to sacrifice themselves for the rest of them. So then it puts the audience in a position of going, all of these characters who are disappeared are Captain America. Then he makes a sacrifice, and it really feels not like, oh, he died for the world. He died to bring these characters back. And every time you go to the screens, you go...
Marvel.
Exactly. So you'll go to Spider-Man 4 and you go, this one's for Cap. Dude, you perfectly. He died for Marvel to continue.
Yeah.
That is such a crazy way to establish the fourth movie. I don't know if Gamora's coming back.
Yeah.
I don't know if Loki's coming back. But
I mean, Zoe Saldana's got a whole bunch of Avatar movies to film, so I don't know if that's got anything to do with it either, but would not be surprised if she's not back. Would not be surprised.
Avatar or The Godfathers?
would not be surprised if Tom Hiddleston's not back either. They've used a lot of him.
He said he's done.
Did he? Okay, so...
I mean, he's been... Yeah, practically.
Yeah, and like you said, at some point, we gotta replace the villains with new ones and move forward a little bit. I think it's gonna be good to kind of freshen up the slate in that regard too. But yeah, there's definitely no way that they're getting rid of all those people who've been dusted. I'm pretty sure Bucky is got a long future in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as well. There's also a little bit of an interesting thing that we didn't actually kind of get the Hulk in this movie, despite what we see in the trailers. Was that something that bothered you?
What bothered me was never getting that scene.
Yeah, that shot, which was the badass shot of the trailer.
Right. So I'm waiting for that shot. It not only does it not happen, but like you said, the Hulk never happens either. Mm-hmm. Somebody else had mentioned something else when Thanos says the line, "I don't usually consider destroying the world as being fun, but this puts a smile on my face." He smiles at the end of the movie, but he never says that line. Mm-hmm. The trailer, however, at the same time, in the final scene, which I still think is very funny when Captain America's going, in the trailer he doesn't have all the Infinity Stones. He's got like 2, right? Which they clearly opted out so people who dissect every trailer wouldn't go super crazy. I like that. I'm a fan of that. I am a very big fan of that because that requires a little bit of extra work, kind of, to make sure that doesn't slip in. In terms of the other one, I'm going to be... The battle continues in Wakanda? Was that just caught?
I guess. Well, the thing is, I feel like they had to maybe make that shot specifically for the movie because they know Hulk's not going to be in the battle at that point. They have to, right? So they're putting the Hulk in there just to get people excited about the Hulk?
I don't get it.
Yeah, it seems like manipulative in a way that's not necessary.
Yeah. It's weird. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. You want to talk about some favorite moments?
For sure. Like I've been saying, funniest character in the movie is Drax. I think he's delivered some of the best lines. The Where Gamora.
Why Gamora?
Yeah, Why Gamora, I still think is one of the funniest lines. Yeah. One of the ones that really crept up on me on the last one was "You're one sandwich away from being fat." It really gets to it. It's funny. The Jesus, who's your master? What am I supposed to say? Jesus.
Yeah.
It's funny stuff.
The Guardians definitely delivered in the comedy element.
Easily. Favorite character? Thor.
I would go the same. Thor was great.
Yeah.
And it's really funny how Thor has gone from my least favorite of the Avengers to probably my favorite Avenger.
Oh my, yeah, man! I feel like that coach who sees the kid going from nobody to I feel so proud of him, dude. Because I thinking of Thor 2 makes me fall asleep. Right, that'll probably cure my insomnia watching Thor 2. And then I'm obviously a huge fan of Thor 3. And then just in this movie, the speech he gives, I think is very underrated. That speech he gives of 1,500 years old and I've killed twice as many men. Oh, you're not ready. Actually, no, I'm great. I'm good to go. All of these people are dead, and he can't beat me. He hasn't beaten me twice. That chipper attitude while he's super down. Yeah.
He's gotten really, really good at doing that. I'm down, but I'm not out thing. Yeah. That I know this is a bad spot, but I'm going to determine my way through this. Mm-hmm. And there's kind of a gravitas, but a comedy to it too.
Yeah, it's funny, but it's also inspirational in a sense. Yeah. Where he's like, well, I got nothing left to lose. He's like, so if I die, I die. And then he's got one of the best entrance scenes later on when they should have played Immigrant Song. But we all know they're probably still Ragnarok made money. All of it went straight to Led Zeppelin.
Exactly. I was hoping that Korg would show up, but I guess that's asking a little bit too much.
Yeah, that's asking a little too much. I wish, but yeah. Your favorites?
I'd say that Thor was definitely my favorite character. I love the rabbit's correct and clearly the smartest among you. Stuff like that. I think they had some fun moments too in Wakanda. I loved when Scarlet Witch shows up during the battle and what's her name? Dania Guerrera says, "Why was she up there?" Which is what I'm usually thinking during these superhero movies. Is why the powerful one waiting to the end.
The best reactionary shots come from her. When Hulk, who's in the Hulkbuster, falls, and she literally just goes,
"Yeah."
That's going to be like one of the most used in 2018 the moment we get a good one of that.
And getting back to the whole T'Challa disappearing thing, I mean, while I never really thought that was something that was going to be permanent, her reaction does really help sell that. She's the one who seems most just shocked and devastated and lost in that moment.
Oh, I agree 1,000%. Yeah, she's like, out of all the things I've seen in my life, what is this?
Yeah.
So,
I like Peter Dinklage as a giant. That was cool.
I didn't.
You didn't?
I didn't. I don't know what it was. I do like his delivery on the line where it says, yes, that is what killing you means. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Great. I thought that was one of the most boring parts of the movie. Even
yeah,
though
I can see that.
Even though it has one of the best payoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So, if that means anything.
Least valuable Avenger. I'm going to go Doctor Strange. Because, you know, for all he does, he kind of just hands over that time stone, bro. Like,
did you not get it? 1 million or 14 million, however much it was. I know someone's going to correct me. 605 different outcomes. They survive in one.
I guess.
But in that one, that means the man knew Peter Quill's plan wasn't going to work. But they had to do it. Okay,
fine. So then let's go least valuable Avenger is Peter Quill.
Have you seen the outrage for Peter Quill?
I haven't actually. Are people upset with him?
Bro, I just searched up Avengers. I want to see how much it made. It said, Peter Quill is this most idiotic character. I was like, what? What the heck? People are outraged on this idiotic event. I was like, what? They are upset as can be. Well, trust me, when I saw it the second time, you ever see that? Right? You already know what's going to happen. But
right.
When Peter starts getting like it's lubed up and he's about to get it off, I was like, ooh. Knowing that I was going to come back in this close.
Mm-hmm. And
it's kind of dumb.
Star-Lord ruined the whole plan.
Let's be completely honest. As K-Dot said in XXX, someone does something to my family, I'm going to shoot the dude. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People keep forgetting that. People keep forgetting that, yeah. People keep forgetting that. I would have taken the gauntlet off and then smacked him, but yeah.
Right. Another good moment I thought was the mini Femvengers team up when they had that. I mentioned it in the funny moment, but the team up between Dania, Black Widow, and Scarlet Witch I thought was a fun.
That was good.
Against Carrie Coon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then Carrie Coon. Yeah.
Do you have any other moments that stood out to you?
I thought it was very interesting to put Daniel Kaluuya in the sunken place during the whole battle. You would think that they would have brought him out.
Yeah.
But I guess they just decided to hide him in a bunker throughout the entire thing.
I guess M'Baku maybe had a cheaper quote.
I guess so, but you know what? M'Baku's a baller for showing up. Mm-hmm. And especially at the end of being like, am I king now?
Not so bad.
M'Baku was like, so do I? Take it? Oh, I really don't get why he wasn't there. You know, like I understand Hawkeye. And as much as it is hinted in there, like half of the Asgard people being taken because he only kills half of the people. Right. So Korg and
Valkyrie,
yeah, would be somewhere else. Where is Daniel Kaluuya's character? I really don't get that. I
was also wondering, like, where's Ant-Man? I think they mentioned him briefly.
They mentioned him, and that's definitely going to be a part of the upcoming movie. It has to be.
Yeah, it's the next movie.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
I'll throw out another Ben Silverio theory. His theory is that Ant-Man gets dusted in the after credits of Ant-Man and the Wasp.
That's good. I'm gonna give your boy that one. That's good. That's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah, we'll see.
Oh, because that's the theory that a lot of people have had, and that's that all the upcoming movies, Spider-Man and Black Panther, that they all take place before Infinity War. I don't see how that's possible. A lot of people, and I know this because trust me, I do explained in theory videos, and I always get these crazy whatever and very aggressive. And then when they're proved wrong, those people never come back to apologize. Yeah. Right? So right now what I'm hearing is these very aggressives, no, you moron, Black Panther took place 2 to 3 years ago. And then it's this, I was like, Black Panther was established in 2018.
Yeah.
This one, as Tony says, it's been 6 years since the first Avengers, is in 2018. Mm-hmm. So it's months apart. I don't know how a whole event could have happened within a month. So we'll see.
There's also the idea that they're potentially opening up the path to like multiverses and stuff like that, which I think would be smart on a company level because it allows you to maybe recast and kind of just explain it away as this is the other Captain America, or
get the X-Men.
Yeah, bring in the X-Men just real quick like that.
So a little extra X-Men.
Do you think that we're getting some multiverse stuff also in the
1,000%. I mean, if we're already doing time travel, what a lot of people have brought up, and I was having this discussion with some of my patrons, and they had mentioned the idea of if you travel to another dimension, that dimension still has the Infinity Stones, and you can bring the Infinity Stones to save your dimension. Just borrow them for a little checkout, right? Leave your ID, go use the Infinity Stones for your dimension, bring it back.
Yeah.
But then we get into paradoxes, which is going to be a very interesting thing because as crazy as the Marvel Cinematic Universe is, as the slight inconsistencies that are in there, they've been slight. A paradox is a very, very, very tricky thing.
Yeah, time travel can get very tricky, especially.
But if they can handle bringing in a female lead to take over the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I'm sure they can handle a paradox.
They can do anything.
They can do anything at that point. You know what I mean? That's the hat trick right there. So.
Yeah.
Have to see.
So yeah, there's a whole lot that changed in the Avengers. I'm curious though, is there anything about Avengers 4 that would make you feel differently about Avengers 3? Anything that you're hoping they don't do going forward? For me, I think one of the big things is that I don't want these dusted deaths to be very easily reversed.
Along those lines, I don't want it to be that they go back to 2012 and then just start fresh.
Right. It would feel like too much of a cop-out. You know, this was such a big moment, and yeah, I never felt like they're gone forever, but to just, like, you know, I know Thanos did a lot with a snap, but that seems like too much to just switch it back.
Okay, look, so here's my thing. I have a full HD copy that I'm splicing up in Premiere, trying to figure out the original Avengers, because I'm giving these guys credit that they have had this planned since the beginning, and I'm trying to see where a slip up, not a slip up like on accident, but on purpose, where they can slip in. For those, I don't know if I can use Lost, but you know. In other time travel movies, when a person comes in and watches another character...
Right.
And you remember that in the original, it just sounded like a bush passing by, and then you realize years later that no, it was that. You get what I'm saying? I'm trying to see if there's something in the Avengers. So then, and if I find something, and if they're able to connect something, that gets all of my respect and everything. So my biggest thing is that they don't do something that just starts everything anew, and everyone forgets those memories. All that needs to be retained. I want there to be a rescue, obviously, and things get better, and you bring the people back, and maybe there's a sacrifice. But my biggest thing right here is that I'm pretty sure they are not going to Days of Future Past it. Remember, Days of Future Past was such a fun movie, and it was good. Captain America and Batman v Superman were very much alike. The difference thing is that I feel... And it's all about patience for Marvel. They've had this plan since the beginning. And they could have done Civil War before if they wanted to, but they didn't. So it ended up coming out alongside Batman v Superman. But they're like, we were never copying. It just did. Then Days of Future Past came out and said, wow, they just did it. And they did Quicksilver, and they're like, yeah, but we don't have Quicksilver slated until here. Right. You know what I mean? But they said, it's fine. It's fine. Just let it be. There will be a Days of Future Past-like story because they're going to time travel in the next one. But the difference between this and that is that after Days of Future Past, we need another Days of Future Past because the X-Men... How does the X-Men get a reboot button and then mess it up? That's insane. Fox, what are you doing? It's so bad. Logan is its own timeline for no reason whatsoever. Even though he's the one who fixed... He's the one who fixed Days of Future Past. So what I'm saying here is that Marvel has had a plan since the beginning, and whatever they decide to do with the time travel aspect of it, they know what they're doing, and they're going to have a plan. They are not going to Days of Future Past it. They've had something brewing.
Yeah, I think one thing that's for sure when you watch Infinity War is that you can tell that there's been a lot of meticulous planning with this franchise.
1,000%.
They've really figured out how to involve everybody organically, how to make it feel like one cohesive thing. There are much smaller movies than this that feel episodic or segmented, that don't have a flow, that don't have an internal consistency in the way that this movie does. I was really impressed with Avengers' ability to do that. Even though I felt maybe it was a little overly long, I don't know where I would cut it. I don't like when people say something's too long but don't know where they would cut things, because
no, I think it's perfectly balanced, especially with so many characters.
Yeah, so it's a pretty stunning achievement. So I'm curious to see what people think of the movie and what people think of the potential future for the Avengers. We'll move on for now. Let us know in the comments down below. We're going to get to the new to see, where we talk about what's new in theaters, on VOD and streaming, starting with the new in theaters, presented by Marcus Cinemas. May 4th, Tully is expanding the Jason Reitman film. We're also getting new movies, Life of the Party and Overboard, 2 comedies, and the Ruth Bader Ginsburg
RBG?
RBG, coming out May 4th.
It's a good movie.
Also, Son of Bigfoot and Bad Samaritan. Any of those stand up to you? You saw RBG?
I saw RBG. Got a screener for it for the Doc 10 Film Festival here in Chicago, and I know a lot of people went to go see it. They're very hyped on it. Very clean, smooth editing, and a very interesting story.
Yeah, I'm curious to see that one. I've heard some good things about the documentary. New to streaming on Netflix May 1st, Amelie, The Bourne Ultimatum, and Sliding Doors on May 4th. A Little Help with Carol Burnett, the new Carol Burnett variety comedy thing that's coming to Netflix. I'm kind of curious about that one.
That's the full name?
Yeah, exactly. And Dear White People, Volume 2. This one kind of snuck up on me. Yeah, May 4th. I was not expecting this to return so soon, so I'm excited for that. We're also getting a new episode of My Next Guest Needs No Introduction with David Letterman with Tina Fey. And then on May 5th, Faces, Places, one of the Oscar-nominated documentaries, makes its way to Netflix.
For good things.
HBO Now on May 1st, Avatar, Dude, Where's My Car, Eurotrip, Garden State, Kill the Messenger, Maps to the Stars, Seabiscuit, Secretary. You've Got Mail and others, a whole bunch of new ones in May. Then on May 2nd, the Being Serena documentary premieres. May 3rd, Lady Macbeth. And May 5th, the Lego Ninjago movie, available on HBO Now. Amazon, May 1st, AI, Artificial Intelligence, which we talked about recently in our Spielberg bracket. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, The Hurt Locker, The Lost World, and Thirst Street. That's a new film from Nathan Silver. I saw it last year's Tribeca Film Festival. It's a good one. I would check it out. Lindsay Burge is the star of that one. And then on May 4th, Last Flag Flying. Then finally on Hulu, May 1st, Bull Durham, Godzilla, Manhunter, all 3 Matrix films, Rocky 1 through 5, all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies,
where's this?
Traffic on Hulu.
Bro,
that's a marathoning to do.
That is a marathon right there. First of all, it goes Rocky.
Rocky, then Rocky 2, then Creed.
Yeah.
Because they got Creed also on Hulu. I don't know if you knew that. I was watching that the other day too.
Did they got Balboa?
I don't know if they got Rocky Balboa on.
5's like literally the only one that you like.
Yeah.
He started them street fights and stuff. But a Rocky Marathon is always worth it.
On May 5th, both on Amazon and on Hulu, the MMA movie Warrior with Tom Hardy and Joel Edgerton. Also a dope movie.
If you've never seen, that is one of all.
Then on new to VOD, May 1st, 12 Strong, the Chris Hemsworth starring military film that came out earlier this year. Duck Butter, a film that stars Alia Shawkat, which premiered at the Tribeca Film Festival I was just at. And Peter Rabbit, which you told me is actually kind of good.
It's decent, dude. It's decent.
Okay, well, VOD on May 1st.
It's decent.
Art, is Peter Rabbit your pick for the week?
I can't say Peter Rabbit is my pick for the week unless you're like babysitting kids and they got a little bit of a sense of humor and you don't want to watch like Frozen for the 40,000th time. Yeah, that'd be decent. No, my pick for the week is Post Malone's album.
Ooh.
Doing something a little different. You said you were listening to Janelle Monae's, and I would also recommend if you want something very lyrical, definitely go for that J. Cole.
KOD.
Sound KOD, which I'm still rocking that KOD. KOD had broken the records. Yeah, KOD had. I'm very curious to see the music video to that because he's directing all of his music videos. So that's like a very interesting process to see which ones are going to roll out, which ones are going to get them, if not all. KOD had broken the record the first day and then even week
streaming records
for the album. Then Post Malone comes in and beats it as well. So it's a very interesting era because I can't say that one really outdid the other. It just seems like those records are becoming a thing now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like that YouTube thing where I think when a lot of people were first like finding out about YouTube, there would be a new this is the most watched video ever on YouTube. Now this is the most watched ever.
1000%. So I think that's what it's getting to the point. More people are hopping on that streaming game. Right? I've been on it. I know midnight, boom, I'm there, and I download the album and then I'm just streaming it, and they're counting the streams. So I think that's very interesting. Shout out to Post Malone as well, and it's a good album.
Nice.
It's a very good album.
Beer bongs and Bentleys.
Beer bongs and Bentleys, boy.
Yeah. Got to check that one out. My pick for the week is a movie that I caught at the Tribeca Film Festival, but it is out in limited release now, I believe, at least in New York and LA. Maybe it's by you in Chicago too, you let me know. It's the new Rachel Weisz, Rachel McAdams film, Disobedience. This is the one where they're in like an Orthodox Jewish community in London. Rachel Weisz has left the community but is returning for her father, a rabbi's funeral, and she and Rachel McAdams have a past that was romantic and not necessarily embraced by the community. But I think, there's a lot of people that are talking about this movie in a very, hinty way. Like, ooh, this is the movie where Rachel Weisz and Rachel McAdams make out and have a really, really intense sex scene, which is oddly sexual and specific in ways I wasn't expecting. But I think there's actually a really wonderful story about spirituality and about community here, about the ways that sometimes we shun people for reasons that don't necessarily make sense. And there's a wonderful heart in this movie. I thought it was a really interesting look at what it's like to be to sort of have this societal pressure around you to conform, yet not wanting to conform. And it didn't do it in the way that a lot of these films do, which is wrap it in tragedy and wrap it in sadness. I felt like the same way that some people feel about Call Me By Your Name, where part of what's great about it is that it kind of was sweet. I feel that way about Disobedience. I liked the niceness of a lot of this movie.
Of a movie called Disobedience.
Yeah. It's surprisingly heartfelt and kind in people who are I don't know. You felt the connection and you felt the love between the characters, and I think they felt lived in and real. So I enjoyed the movie a lot more than I expected to. So I definitely would check that out if it's playing in a theater by you.
Gotcha.
But that's all for this week's show. You can catch more from me, Zach Shevich, by following me on Twitter, @ZShevich, or on Instagram, also @ZShevich. And check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/multiplexshow. Also, thanks to all of you who went over and checked out the video for Fables. Got a lot of comments from people who are subscribed to you or subscribed to this. So really appreciate everybody who checked that out and boosted up some of our numbers. You can check out the link to the video that I directed down below. I'll include it for another week. Art, where can people find more from you?
You can find me at the A to Z Show on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and at a Marcus Theater near you if you are in the Midwest area.
Pew, 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 Marcus Theaters, pew.
Yeah. One day we're going to be those Marcus Theaters correspondents until we change the name and make it our own. But yes, it's a deal we've been working on, trying to get that there, trying to get more
good peoples.
Movie news. Yeah, they're pretty good. They're very home based if you don't know them. They're very Midwest. They're very much the Midwest side, and we've just been working with them trying to kind of boost a social media presence for them. So hopefully that's something that's in the works. But other than that, you know me on the A to Z Show, but of course also every week here on the Intercut Podcast.
You can listen to every episode of the Intercut Podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, or your favorite podcatcher, I like Overcast. And then make sure you subscribe not just to the audio podcast, but to our video feed as well here on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/intercutpod, where you can watch our bright, smiling faces as we break down the latest in entertainment for you. Find new episodes of Intercut every Tuesday. Also, like our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages, all of them at IntercutPod, to get updates throughout the week from both me and Art. Thanks again for tuning in, and until next time, rejoice! You're about to die at the hands of Thanos.
That's a BA line. I like that one.